we don't now use regional language, we use the word Indian languages. Because they're Indian languages. That is very important. Now, all of us who talk about it, I go back to the maestro Satyajit Ray. I mean, most of his movies were in Bangla. But then there is not a place in the world or any serious filmmaker who would not have learned from Satyajit Ray's movies. So language was never a barrier and will never be a barrier as far as showcasing talent is concerned in this country and also abroad now that we are going abroad. Having said that, a couple of things, of course, this is an industry which is largely private and we see a lot of young talent coming up on OTT. But from the government, we have been trying to do a few things. Like 3 years back, our minister's initiative, we started this 75 Young Creative Minds at the International Film Festival of India. And we invited applications from across the country. And there were hugely talented young boys and girls, totally amateur, who made those short films. And out of that, about 5,000, 10,000 applications, a panel jury of reputed people. They selected 75 of them. They were brought all the way to Goa, IFI, and their talent was showcased, and they were awarded. And now we're also collaborating with Amazon so that we can get them to make some things which can go on various platforms, including on Amazon. So whatever they will make, and that would be in any language. It is nothing to do with Hindi or a particular language, any language, because we had people from Bihar, from Assam, from Tamil Nadu, all over the country. So that is one good thing. So every year we're getting this 75. So in the last 3 years now, we have 225 such young people, and they are now getting this opportunity to showcase their talent. The second thing is the NFDC now is propelling it back and trying to get into filmmaking or helping in film production. Again, it is language agnostic, any language, anybody. And we have also invited applications from good script writers to give their scripts. And we also had a special section even for Northeast, that how we can promote, because when you see movies from, I stayed in Guwahati for 3 years, I had the opportunity to watch Asmi's movies, and it was a real thrill watching Asmi's movies. So a few things we are doing, plus incentivizing films. Madam talked about affordability or the viability. So the government, state governments large state governments have done it, but even the central government is doing that and trying to incentivize by way of giving some cash incentives and so that some aspect of the film production is taken care. And so those who do not have a large amount of funds or not able to get large funds, the government can come in and help it that way. So few things are happening.
That's great, sir. I think that's exciting news for filmmakers, especially who don't have deep pockets, but who are extremely talented and creative. I'd like to bring in Mr. Padole, from the Madhya Pradesh Tourism Board. Sir, it's a beautiful state. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are coming there to film, for shoots and so on. Are there initiatives that you have taken to help filmmakers who come there, or even the local industry itself?
Yes. First of all, namaskar to everyone here. We would like to thank FICCI for providing us this opportunity and having Madhya Pradesh here as a state partner in this 23rd edition of FICCI Frames. So, seeing is believing. As we are talking about cinema and films, theaters, everything. So, as you have rightly said, Madhya Pradesh is a beautiful state, but you have to come and see. You have to come and check it. We have everything. We have very diversified state, very versatile state, except the coastal line. Madhya Pradesh offers you everything. We are the tiger state of India. First of all, we are the heart of incredible India, having at the center of the country. We are tiger state, having so much of wildlife there. All UNESCO World Heritage Sites, architecture, history, religion, spiritual places, Jyotirlingas, everything is there for a right script, for a right subject, for anything you want to make a film. And above all, the government is very, very proactive, and we provide you all kind of assistance. Single window system is there, Tourism Department is the nodal agency for providing all kind of permissions, NOCs, and ease of filming, ease of doing business. If you want to see, come to Madhya Pradesh. Most of the filmmakers who have worked in Madhya Pradesh, who have completed their projects in Madhya Pradesh, are very happy. I can say this because they're coming back to us again. So they're repeating their films, starting from great Prakash Jhaji, who had made 4 films in a row. Recently, Mr. Vikram Malhotra, 3 films in a row, and a lot of other things like television serials, web series, Panchayat, Gullak. They have 2 or 3 seasons in Madhya Pradesh. So this shows that the government is moving at the right direction. And now, since I was talking to Renuka ji, since now talents of Madhya Pradesh, they're also coming up, they're helping us, and the government is also helping them by providing them technical support also. Now, the film schools are there, training centers are there. We are providing technical supports, unskilled, semi-skilled, and skilled technicians, the gadgets, equipments, light, camera, everything. And hassle-free atmosphere where you don't have to worry about anything, no kind of pressure, and you shoot your film well on time as per your schedule. A lot of films are going on, but yes, there is also the other part or other side of the issue, the subsidies, the incentives, the discounts, which are also not a major but integral part of filmmaking and all. So the government from, Madhya Pradesh government from our side, we ensure and assure everyone, whosoever comes to Madhya Pradesh, if they are making good films, non-controversial, away from all caste, creed, religion, language, these things, we are happy to assist you. We are happy to give you subsidies up to the tune of 2 crores. Now, as Madam has said, not many big budget films will come, but yes, small pocket or small budget films are coming to Madhya Pradesh. Not only feature films, but as Ratna ji has said, theaters and other things are also happening there. Languages films. So we have a special category for now for South Indian movies. If they're coming and shooting in Madhya Pradesh, Gujarati films are being shot in Madhya Pradesh now. So we have something for all kind of these production houses, all kind of language films. We are also going to promote filming in Madhya Pradesh in various platforms, like FICCI is one of them. We are also going to Cannes. But we need people like you to represent Madhya Pradesh, to come with us to all these big platforms and tell the story, tell the situation about Madhya Pradesh, because if I say something about myself or my state, it's little less. But if you tell about your experiences of filmmaking in Madhya Pradesh, people will believe it, people will come to Madhya Pradesh. And I want to promise on behalf of my government, I want to promise everyone that you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Finally, I want to bring in the money people, those who are in the OTT business, the creative space where they're searching for content and giving the audience the best of the content that they find. Rajat Agarwal and Nautik. You know, you're doing multiple languages. Rajat, of course, Ultra Jackass, which is Marathi content. And Nautik, you're diversifying into various other languages as well, other than Hindi. How do you see the space as evolving, as changing? Do you think that all languages are just as important as Hindi now?
So we are making content in about 5 languages right now. And the way I look at it, if it has to be broken down into economics, because we have had interesting creative conversations, is there's a demand side and there's a supply side. So when we look at the supply side, which is essentially creatives, production, producing the best content, what I'm observing, and I've been at the trenches, I've been building content in different languages over the last 4 years now, is a very interesting cohort of very young filmmakers, very young storytellers emerging from different parts of India. Because today content is getting more and more inclusive. Today a kid sitting in a tier 3 town in say Orissa is essentially on par with the best of the filmmakers there, because you can make a complete film on an iPhone, and you can actually have it released theatrically as well. Since today you have the technology to do that. Where I am seeing a huge sea change which is going to happen, and everyone needs to brace themselves from it, is going to be a lot of young local filmmakers emerging from different parts of India. And today some of the best scripts that we are getting and the best people that we are interacting are not from Bombay, unfortunately, and because we scope all of them, are essentially small town filmmakers who today have the exposure because they've seen enough content. They've trained themselves on it, using the technology that they have, and are, on and have the certain amount of confidence and are on par with whatever the best the world can offer. Just 2 examples that I can really give you, or actually 3 examples, is there's a local Assamese film came out called Local Utpat, which was complete with martial arts, and it had an interesting setup. It was a 50 lakh film which made, I think, about 4 or 5 crores, just focusing on the Assamese audience and Assamese diaspora, and it had a release in places like Bangalore, which has an interesting, plethora of Assamese techie people who kind of work there. And they were actually able to get the most revenue from that market. There's an Odia film that just came out, which is outstanding, which was made by an IT guy, about a true story about a doctor who was fighting an epidemic in the most popular, most far-flung district in Orissa. And that film was again made for 1.5 crore, and I think the last I heard they'd made about 17 crores from it, just out of the Odia market. So obviously, one has to be able to, look at that, look at these trends which are emerging, and as the business guys, these are extremely heartening to note. And then you obviously need to, look at the demand side of things, which is essentially where the distribution comes from. And I feel that what we are moving towards is a change in technology. I mean, I've been in the industry for decades, so now you're looking at a shift from, say, what we used to call as the linear technology to non-linear. But ultimately, content remains the same. So the trick is to get people to first, the viewers, to first go sample your content, and that's part A. And when they actually sample the content, you get them to view it. So it doesn't matter where they come from. I mean, whether they go to a cinema, they go to a OTT platform, they watch it on TV. As long as you can get enough people to come in and watch the content, you will always make money. And even on a YouTube, you'll be able to make money if there are enough people coming and watching it. And I think that is what filmmakers should be actually focusing on how do I kind of get my content to become better and better, the quality to go, and the quality to become a lot more on par with the best that the world has to offer. And it's not about money anymore. It's just more about great storytelling, great experimentation to do with the craft, and finding that kind of a differentiator. And I'd just like to end with this great example of this movie called Great Indian Kitchen. When it started, The Great Indian Kitchen, it's a Malayali film, and it was rejected by all the major platforms. It was made on a very low budget. They just put it on a VOD platform. So, they would get a revenue share out of that. And it was a small Malayali VOD platform based out, with most of their audiences out of Dubai, out of the Middle East. And the film got such great word of mouth that over a period of time, even that OTT platform which was offering it on VOD made a good amount of money. Amazon noticed it. Then Amazon bought it at maybe like multiple times the cost that they would have offered to be on Amazon in the first place. And today that movie is getting made in multiple versions. I think there's a Hindi version also being made. So it's all about that. It's all about how do you make a great product, get people to come in, and it's going to be a different size fits all. It's not going to be a one size fits all strategy that you kind of put in. When you decide on making a film, you need to look at how exactly am I going to get my target audience, because as Mansi rightly said, it's going to be not all inclusive. It's going to be a mass of niches, as you call it. So there are the different audiences out there for different kinds of products. So one needs to, as a filmmaker, also be able to identify that. And once you identify that, okay, these are the audiences that I want to get on. How do I make sure that my film reaches them, and how do I kind of get them to the screen that I want them to be, and make sure that enough of those people see it. And once you get that mass of niches, and a very cliched term called long tail will set in, and you're going to be able to actually monetize the content. So I think it's a great time, and with also on the demand side, you have interesting technologies coming up like blockchain, and obviously you have AI and lots of things revolutionizing, but blockchain is the technology that's going to eventually get the filmmakers the access to the revenues that, hitherto they would have been not able to get over a longer period of time. And that's where the industry is effectively going to go about 5 to 6 years from now, where even that part of the industry is going to get more and more democratized and monetizable, where you're actually going to be able to see the money. A filmmaker is going to know that, okay, these are the amount of people that have actually watched my content today, and this is the amount that I'm getting out of the residuals. So it's all getting there, but I think what the industry needs to do is, recognize all the local talent, make it a lot more inclusive, and not just, say, based out of Bombay or Chennai and all the main centers, and then at the same time be more cognizant to the fact that, the product that I'm making it, how do I get my target audience to it? So yeah, that's my 2 cents on, where we can go with the entire content bit now.
Rajat?
Yeah, I'll be happy to pick up from where Mautik left, citing the example of Great Indian Kitchen, which is really great, because that also talks about what VOD has done today. So that has actually given an additional distribution stream, which wasn't, there earlier. Earlier, it was probably like if it did not work theatrically, your only other branch of monetization of content was satellite. But now what VOD has done is it has given the producers that additional confidence that maybe if my film does not do well theatrically, or if it does not get picked up by a satellite channel, I have a VOD option. And that's where I think even where Renuka ji was talking about distribution channels, revenue sharing models have again become very helpful for producers. So today, even as Ultra Jhaka, so we have started an OTT platform of ours in the Marathi space. And today, if we as a platform do not particularly feel confident about a content, but we still feel that that might have an audience, we will pick it up on a revenue share model and we'll try to experiment it, which also gives the producer an opportunity that, okay, I've not made that kind of money, I've not recouped my amounts, but now I might be able to. And that is what I think even Mautik was talking about with Great Indian Kitchen. And also like with, and I was talking to Swapnil before also, that, we do need multiple platforms in one language, and every language should have multiple platforms, because I think the film industry is not a space of monopolies, because no one company has helped evolve the industry. Even if we talk about satellite channels, it is not one channel that has given the boost to the television audience. It is multiple free-to-air channels and pay TV channels that has helped you reach today. Even with the theater business, it is not only a PVR or an INOX, or there are multiple single screens and other multiplexes that have done it. And it is the same with VOD also. I don't think that only Ultra Jhakas or only, maybe a plan in Marathi will exist on its own. And it shouldn't, I believe, because that will also affect the buying and the selling power of a producer. And it will also hinder the exposure of the content. Now, for example, if we take our platform, we are trying to promote Nataks, to reach out to the audience through our platforms, along with other Marathi content, because that is one of, it is very important for the Marathi audience also to see. And I think what, even Swapnil is trying to achieve with his platform is trying to capture the tier 2, tier 3 countries with, Konkani, other languages. And that is what is going to get the audience rolling. As even Renuka ji cited earlier, that Marathi film industry has its own challenges, because I feel that they are also, they watch Hindi content too, which probably does not exist with other regional spaces. Like, for example, today, what has helped grow the South Indian film industry, which is your Malayalam, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, is that, there is a very big language barrier. And so what happens is they have their own, sorry for saying they, but you know, the South Indian audience, basically, the producers have one South Indian watching audience and then now a Hindi speaking audience through the form of dub content, which probably does not exist in Marathi, Gujarati and other states wherein Hindi is still widely spoken. And that is where, you know, we come into the picture, or we want to come into the picture by, you know, giving the local audience the content that they want to watch. And I feel that is the way forward in the OTT space in general, is that every language needs to grow through the digital, the non-linear space, as Mautik said. And I believe that that is going to help in the future. Also, when we talk about subsidies, yes, it would be great to have a little more. You know, the government has helped a lot, I feel. You know, now every state has come to the picture with subsidies, which wasn't earlier. I think earlier it was UP which has started it, and now I think Madhya Pradesh, like even Delhi has, you know, done a soft announcement of it. And, you know, different cities and states are doing it. And it would be great to, you know, grow on that a little more, reach out, you know, to extents which other countries are doing, for example, like a UK, wherein the subsidies are growing, you know, international co-productions are increasing. And I think that will again give a very big boost to the producers to go out there, make more content and reach out to the audience that they have been wanting to since so many years.
Right. Thank you so much. So I guess there are still challenges, but what the digital space has done is, you know, really pushed Indian content across languages into the forefront and thrown the limelight on it. But one of the things that I feel is India is so rich in terms of its traditions, culture, and its stories, the storytelling. It's very, very powerful. So this is a question that I throw open to all of you. Do you think we need to start looking more at our own stories and, you know, voicing that to the audience rather than just aping whatever's going on in the West? I think that's important.
Absolutely. There are so many stories. If I talk about Gujarat, there are incredible narratives that are waiting to come out. And what happens is that because commercially only the male narratives work, for example, with Kutch Express, when we did a female narrative, everybody was like, are you crazy? It's not going to make money at the box office, but it did. And that in itself, you know, the audiences are ready for it. We need to break the stereotypes. We need to dig deeper and get into, you know, the regional, I mean, the small towns and the city, small, you know, aspirations. Those are the places that we really need to tap into, absolutely.
Yeah, I have felt this for years and years, that it's strange that a country with so much variety of every kind needs to have only one kind of entertainment idea. How strange is that? And we've had the same entertainment idea for 3,000 years. We watch the same stories in every form, the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Purans. These have been our sources of entertainment across dance, music, theatre, across the country, everywhere. Suddenly today this is genuinely a new audience. And it's an audience which is wanting more of their own lives reflected in what they see. I think that's the big difference. The audience today doesn't want only a fantasy. They know that life is tough. They want to see some reflection of that. So I think that's another big change. And the fact that he quickly qualified when he said South Indian, he quickly clarified. Once upon a time, we called everything south of the Vindhyas Madrasi. Right? You remember that time?